Joining us now to review some of the headlines of today's newspapers from around the world is Arise News analyst Emmanuel Ifeni. Good morning, Emmanuel.
Good morning, Ruben. Good morning, Rufai.
Good morning, sir.
On a day somebody's missing.
Yes,
Both of you decide to do Ashoibi with your ties. You think you can isolate me?
It's just coincidence.
But Rufai, you are not a Malabite.
Yes, I'm not.
Now let's start the review with this day, Nigeria's newspaper of record. The lead story, Nwajiuba, Tinubu, Osinbajo, Amosun, not suitable for Nigerians' current work plan. Argues Southwest angling for power makes no sense. Declares Nnamani, Onu are disadvantaged by age. Explains zoning is difficult after people had purchased forms. Says bandits attack Kaduna train because they thought they were delegates coming to collect dollars in Abuja. Yes, Emeka Nwajiuba, presidential aspirant, former Minister of State for Education. Now, he's speaking as a presidential aspirant, but he said a lot of things in this interview. Yes, the This Day presidential series, and Nwajiuba taking his turn. Now, he said his form was bought by crowdfunding. Through fundraising, 3,816 persons contributed between 5,000 naira and 500,000 naira for him to buy his form. So if you're wondering how a minister raised 100 million, yes, he has explained, and he said he has records. It's ready to publish those names of those who contributed. So, well, that's taken care of. But he's also saying, if I may just paraphrase what he has said about zoning, it's like if South don't get the presidency, we should blame the Southwest. Because he's postulating that if the Southwest aspirants pull out today, the North will concede power to the Southeast. I don't know whether it is that straightforward. But the point he's making is that after 8 years of Olusegun Obasanjo as president, 8 years of Osinbajo as vice president, in this democratic dispensation, the Southwest should not be angling for the presidency come 2023. Maybe he has a point there, but I'm not sure it's very straightforward that if there was no Southwest aspirant on the APC ticket, angling for the APC ticket, then North will just concede power to the Southeast. Not as straightforward, but what is he offering Nigerians? I'm sure many will want to know. But I just take a quote from his interview. It is a holistic system. It is dangerous to abandon the work we have already done because we need to build on it. If we bring in someone who is not part of the foundation that built it, the person won't know what we have done and will fail. Well, what is the foundation Emeka Nwajiuba is talking about? Foundation of insecurity, foundation of passive strike, foundation of poorly run economy, debt everywhere, borrowing. Is that the foundation Emeka Nwajiuba is talking about? Well, I'm sure Nigerians will ask more questions as we get along. But will Nwajiuba make the mark to the extent that he will get the APC ticket? Left to be seen, because sometimes people wonder, where is Nwajiuba's structure? Is he an anointed aspirant that the president is talking about, that has been talking about, he has been talking about for some time? But we'll just move on to other stories. Vanguard newspaper, why Buhari is not signing Electoral Act. Sources opt for moral high ground. APC leaders behind delay. PDP, APC keeps mum. Is right to refer bill for checks, says Olawekbo Ashim. Bankole canvasses modified consensus to decide APC. Well, the president is taking his time, going through the motion. After all, he has 30 days by law to sign or not to sign. But even if he signs today, will that law be applicable? Yes, lawyers are saying, no, you cannot have retroactive effect. The primaries are already on. So why all the hoopla about the president not signing? So Mr. President will just take his time, let INEC and the Attorney General do the checks, and he has 30 days from the date the bill was transmitted to him to sign or not to sign. As for those who scored own goal, as Ruben will put it, well, it is their headache that the National Assembly members, senators, House of Rep, unwittingly, unknowingly excluded themselves from voting at the convention. So much for super delegates. Now the Nation newspaper drama clashes upsets at PDP reps assembly primaries. Opposition party to pick senatorial candidate today. Yeah, party member killed in Bayelsa. Ondo House minority leader Udwan's daughter lose. Lagos ESCO kick against least factional elections in Edo. Aggrieved members stay away in Akwa Ibom. Process stalled in Imo Plateau. Consensus in Enugu, Sokoto, Jigawa, hitches in Plateau, Rivers. Gunmen abduct delegates in Osun. Fayose's son gets rep ticket. Yes, it's not a bad thing if you have a father who is popular, who has already laid the ground rules for you. After all, in America, there was a time a Bush was governor in Texas, another Bush, Jeff, was governor in Florida. Sometimes you take the advantage if your parents have set the bar for you, not necessarily questioning the capacity of these children of political bigwigs who are also making their own stride in politics. Yes, somebody I know will argue, don't blame children of the rich and famous if they are making strides. Now, the Daily Sun newspaper 2023, governors fight dirty in bid to impose successors, employ every means to have their ways as parties hold primaries this week. Yes, the Leadership newspaper 2023, postponement of APC presidential screening unsettles aspirants. No new date for exercise yet as president meets with aspirants on Wednesday. Jonathan name pops up again in APC presidential permutation. May get party's waiver to run. Yes, in fact, the Nation newspaper also reporting that story. Above its masthead, the Nation newspaper, APC insists on screening Jonathan Emefiele in Gige. Well, we'll see how it pans out. But with the president meeting with all the aspirants, maybe not, the president is about to tell them his preferred choice. If the president has not intervened in governors picking their successor, if he asks that he should be allowed to pick his successors, will the governors be able to say no to Mr. President? Now, if we just look at the foreign newspapers quickly, the Guardian newspaper, the Guardian, children in mental crisis as cases rocket to a record high. Yes, in the month of February, 420,314 youths and children under 18 were either seeking or having mental health issues at the NHS, being treated, as it were, for mental health problems. This is the highest since record started in 2016. And this is a major problem. The toll, of course, as it triggers alarm over the scale of the problem since COVID. Many believe that it started, it aggravated during the COVID. Many youth suffering such problems as anxiety, depression, and self-harm among school-age children. Now, the Daily Telegraph newspaper, gene-edited crops to help ease Ukraine food crisis. Yes, ministers say spending Speeding up approval for new method will guarantee British food supplies. While the Wall Street Journal is reporting small businesses project economy to worsen. Yes, confidence drops to all-time low reached during the early days of the global pandemic. Yes, 57% of small businesses expecting that economic conditions will continue to worsen. Ruben and Rufai, over to you.
Okay, one other story that I find interesting, is the focus in some of the papers in the UK on the cost of living crisis.
Yes.
And at least one newspaper is reporting that, the Brits are feeling the pinch. And how are they feeling the pinch? Yes, we all know energy prices have gone up.
And will continue to go up.
Petrol, the head of E.ON is saying that, fuel poverty will rise further by the end of the year. But one newspaper was reporting that, look, there is a new wave of first-time shoplifters in Britain, which is, a graphic illustration of the crisis that people are facing. Families are withdrawing from subscription for streaming services, for example. Netflix has reported major losses, not just in UK, but also elsewhere.
That should be the least of their problems.
Yeah, but people now shoplifting.
Yes.
I mean, that's amazing.
That should be one.
And the head of the police constabulary last week was quoted as saying he has told his men to be very tolerant, with people who are involved in petty theft. Although he qualified it and said he was not recommending amnesty for criminality, but that, look, these are hard times. Some people may start stealing things. But now, to hear that shoplifting has gone up is just an indication. And that is the case elsewhere. And that's probably why the head of the IMF, was warning that countries will need to help households. Countries will need to help businesses because, the Sri Lankan situation, a country that is in default in terms of its debt, a country that is dealing with crisis as a result of terrible inflation and poor governance, that this could be replicated in other parts of the world. And such chaos really could destabilize many countries, and some may not quite recover from it for a while, as we have seen in the Latin American countries. Which is why also, we didn't have Rotus this morning. He has other engagements. I was going to ask him again. The Monetary Policy Committee in Nigeria will be meeting. I think the meeting starts today.
Yeah.
And the concern is, okay, would Nigeria follow the same trend as South Africa, as Ghana, and some other countries across the world, and increase interest rate, the MPR, even if it is by 50 basis points, from 11.50 to 12%, particularly now that headline inflation in Nigeria is about 16.82. But we'll probably know after the MPC meeting.
All right.
Okay.
We can't say a lot because of time is gone. But thank you so much for your time.
Well, thank you very much, Emmanuel Efeni. Thank you.